And now, a thought from man.
You know, I honestly didn't know what to expect going into Disney's new show, Big City Greens. From the previews I saw, I thought it would be a nice little show about a country bumpkin trying to just fit in. You know, it just seemed kind of simple and straightforward. And for the most part, I was right. Granted, my expectations were surpassed because this was honestly a lot funnier than I thought it would be. I genuinely find myself having a good time just watching this. I enjoy a lot of the characters. The jokes are very clever and have good execution. It's just a laugh riot, and I really wasn't expecting that much. I didn't think it'd be that funny. I thought, I'll probably get a decent laugh here and there, but watching it, I'm like, this is actually really funny. So I really gotta give Disney their props on this one. They made a genuinely funny show. The series is created by the Houghton brothers, Chris and Shane, whose track records combined include Wander Over Yonder, Gravity Falls, Harvey Beaks, and the new Mickey Mouse shorts. They're clearly seasoned on this type of series and stuff because the humor that they have in those shows that they've worked on very much shows here. It feels like, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I feel like the series comes off a lot stronger because of it. The main premise of the series is about this country bumpkin and his family moving to the big city and adjusting to their new life. It's a pretty simple and straightforward premise that doesn't try to be too much more than it actually is. It's basically giving you what you think you would get out of an animated Disney series about this type of stuff. And I say it just works, you know, it's just one of those series where it's like, we're not pushing boundaries here, but we are just gonna make this work. We're gonna really own this idea and just run with it. I like that about this series. It's just simple enough, and they're just like, we wanna run with this and just have fun doing it. I can always get behind that. Granted, I do find something a little weird is that Disney renewed this show for a second season, and yet they haven't premiered the first episode. Like, that was just the weird thing. They were like, yeah, it's renewed for a second season. Okay, but we haven't even seen like a first episode or even a preview. Like when you renewed Star vs. Force of Evil for a second season, we at least got a preview of the first episode. You know, you aired it on Disney Channel so everybody could watch. But this time you were just like, second season right off the bat. I'm like, okay. I mean, after watching a little bit of this show, I'm like, okay, I can see your justification here. It's just a little odd. Y'all must really believe in these creators, and I say more power to you, you know? These creators worked hard, and they're really putting the effort in, so, you know, give them the support. You guys clearly believe in them, so just give them that support. There's nothing wrong with that. None at all.
Bingo bango.
This is a very character-driven series. A lot of the time, it's just all about what the characters are going to do and how they feel about things and just how they're going to go about handling situations. You got Cricket, who's the main character we follow, who's just a major troublemaker. He constantly comes up with these harebrained schemes that are clearly going to backfire and just get him or his family or somebody injured. He doesn't do what he does out of malicious intent. It's clear on the lines of he's trying to adjust to this new life and just have fun with this brand new situation he's been put in. So you kind of understand where he's coming from. It's on the lines of you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. And he just keeps his old ways, and they just clash with this new metropolis he's living in.
Pretty dang impressive.
Then you have his sister Tilly, who, oh boy, she, I don't know what the hell you can really call her. I mean, she's just out there. Like, she is just a character who does her own thing and she just does not give a crap. I mean, she's just so odd and weird, but I can't help but laugh at whenever she does something so odd, weird, or however she responds to her brother. It's just funny. She honestly acts like one of those senile country grandmas, which is odd because they actually have a country grandma in this, but Tilly's odder than her. It's just so weird. It's like, how is it this girl acts like an 80-year-old senile woman, and yet she's got to be like, what, 8 or something? She's just so weird and odd. It's just fascinating how she operates throughout this whole endeavor. Then you have their dad, Bill Green, who's basically just kind of your typical everyday father. He's trying to look out for his kids and his family in general, and he's just, you know, trying to keep them from getting in trouble or killing somebody or setting somebody on fire. You get where he's coming from when he's trying to just do the best thing for his kids and make sure they can adjust to this new life. So you can easily find yourself back in him. The sort of weird thing about him though is that half of his index finger is like cut off. Like I saw that, I was like, what the hell is going on with his finger? Is that like a weird design? I'm like, no, his finger's chopped off. I'm like, damn. I'm hoping that's not something Cricket did. Then you have their grandma Alice, who honestly I think is a bit of an influence for Tilly, because like I said, Tilly acts like a senile old grandma, while their actual grandma just acts a bit senile here and there, but not like crazy as Tilly. She just acts so strange sometimes, because like for instance, she for some reason has a sword, and she used it as a means of defense when Cricket and his friend were sneaking into her room while she was asleep. It was just kind of like, what the hell? Why does this grandma have a piece? Like she's just randomly walking around with a sword. I'm like, why? Got freaking battle granny over here. It's just like, what the hell? It's just so odd. But she's honestly kind of harmless when she's not waving around pieces of medieval weaponry. So you just kind of enjoy the fact that she's just kind of crazy and weird just as much as Tilly can be, or probably a little less than Tilly, because Tilly, I don't even know. Honestly, the whole family is just a very nice group. You really enjoy their dynamic and enjoy that they really are about family bonding and just being there for each other. They just have such a nice dynamic. Though something that I'm still questioning is just their last name is Green, but their skin is yellow. I mean, sure, that would be kind of on the nose, but I don't know. Maybe they could have had a clever joke here and there. Maybe they will in the future, but it's just kind of that little thing that's kind of in the back of my brain.
Hey, did anyone see that?
Considering this series is made by Gravity Falls vets, it's honestly not surprising that the animation is very much in the vein of Gravity Falls, but also works to its advantage. It has a great sense of familiarity, but also uniqueness to it. It's just something you think, you know, this looks familiar, but it feels very different. I've seen this before, but I feel like it still fits something as unique as this show. The colors are honestly a major highlight of the animation. They just pop and are very well made and just eye-catching. You look at this and it's just so pleasing to the eye. They just use a lot of solid coloring and manage to make characters feel unique and different. Granted, the odd thing about this is the fact that the characters are all multicolored. It's just kind of that weird thing, but I feel like that adds more to the uniqueness. It helps kind of add a bit of a draw. It's like, hey, you pop this in, it's like, these characters are different colors. It kind of takes a bit of note from Doug, where a lot of the characters did have like all these different crazy colors, but in this one, I think it works a bit better only because Doug was pretty friggin' boring. Thankfully, this show only decided to copy the multicolored people and not the comedy of Doug, because then this is just not gonna last very long. That was just a very boring show. But I digress. The one odd thing about the whole series is just the character designs, and that's particularly to do with the faces. Nobody in this series has a nose. It was just kind of jarring to me as I was watching. I was like, wait, do these people not have noses? So now I'm just kind of assuming whenever their mouths are closed that they're just gonna be holding their breath, and that's why they now gotta start talking. I'm just like, seriously, how the hell do they not have noses? How do they smell? I do wonder what happened to their perfume market. Like, I wonder if it just straight up went kaput and crashed. Like, that's just kind of something I'm wondering about this series. It's like, since nobody has a nose, there's no reason to have perfume. So, like, do they have a perfume market at all? I wonder if anyone ever set off a stink bomb and nobody gave a shit about it. I wonder if anyone even cares if someone farts. Like, this literally has me blown. I'm like, what goes on? Like, they don't have noses, so they don't have a means of smelling. So, seriously, it's just so weird.
Yeah, I guess so.
Animation isn't the only thing that this series borrows from Gravity Falls. It's definitely also the comedy. A lot of the jokes that you hear in this series very much reflect something that you would hear out of Gravity Falls. I hear this sort of weird dialogue between the characters, and I'm just like, this really feels like a conversation I would hear in Gravity Falls. It's just kind of played up properly that it feels like, okay, this is definitely something out of Gravity Falls, but something that's more on the lines of it fits within the context of this series. And I gotta give it to them. I genuinely find myself smiling whenever the characters are just interacting. I'm just having a good time watching these characters just kind of be idiots. And other pieces of comedy come from the goofball antics of Cricket. It's just all these harebrained schemes he comes up with. They're just so out there and pretty stupid, but you're like having a good time laughing at how they go so wrong. It's just kind of funny how that happens. Granted, the funniest one very much is Tilly, because she's just so odd and weird and just so eccentric. She's just always doing her own thing no matter what anyone tells her. It's just funny how she just is going through life. She's just like, I don't give a shit, I do what I want. And she just has that type of attitude, and it's just funny. Honestly, everybody in this whole entire series is just funny. Like, you get good dialogue and just nice lines from everyone. You just enjoy what you get out of this series. Just a bunch of country bumpkins getting into shit, messing up with modern day utopias or metropolises and cities. It's just fun antics for all, and I get a nice kick out of that.
I fought a robot.
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, now how about we head home and order some takeout?
That won't be necessary, Papa. The subway has provided. Bottoms up, family.
Tilly, don't.
No.
Okay, that's it. We're taking the bus.
Rats.
This is honestly a great Disney show. It is a little odd that it managed to get a second season before the premiere of the first episode, but even still, I think after watching the first episode, it's like, you know what? Disney made the right call on this one. This feels like a genuinely good series with a lot of heart behind it and a lot of talent behind it. The characters are all fun to be around, and you do get a sense of family bonding. The humor is the general highlight of the series. All the characters can get a genuine laugh out of you, especially Tilly. It's very pleasing to the eye with all the bright colors. The animation is just very gorgeous and well made. This is just Disney at its best. Plain and simple. But that's just a thought.